Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Villanova Ballpark here in Plymouth Township, Pennsylvania for tonight's win-or-go-home Game 5 of the Perky Valley Twilight League Semifinals between the Collegeville White Sox and the Philadelphia Dirt Dogs. I am joined here tonight by Ryan Cuny and Tyson Maddox. My name is Ryan Straub, and we could not be more excited for the action here tonight as these two teams battle for a spot in the Perky Valley Championship Series that begins tomorrow night at the number 1 seed Lansdale Tigers. Tyson, I will start with you. The Dirt Dogs have clawed their way back into this series with back-to-back wins facing elimination. What do they have to do to complete this comeback and clinch their berth in the finals?
Well, I'd say the first thing to complete this comeback, they got to keep the White Sox at 7 hits or under. There are 2 games they've won. It's been under 7 hits both times. The 2 games they've lost have been over 7 hits both times, so 7 hits under is going to work. And also, if they can get the bats going like they were in the regular season, I imagine they'll win tonight.
And Ryan, if you're Collegeville, there's certainly some pressure and some nerves that are starting to creep in, no doubt about it. But even after all this, their goal is still extremely simple. Win a baseball game and you're in the finals. So what do they need to do in order to put a halt to this Dirt Dogs momentum tonight?
Yeah, the biggest thing is they've got to get their offense going back to what it was in the first 2 games. Cody Clark, he was dominant. He had 5 hits with 5 RBIs in the first 2 games, but then he's gone silent. 0 hits, 0 RBIs in the last 2 games. He is a must-have to get going for Collegeville. Additionally, Benny Wilson, he is their ace pitcher. We'll see if he comes out of the bullpen tonight. But if he can come out hot to close a game out, I don't see any reason why Collegeville won't take away the win.
And the first pitch of the ball game is looped into right field. Diving attempt by the second baseman, Luzens, unable to make the play. A leadoff single for Sam Junker here tonight in Game 5.
And just unlucky play there for both for Luzens but also for Carney. I mean, not a bad pitch, just a little chip there and happy to go down.
Perfect way to start the day off for the Dirt Dogs, though. It's what Junker's known for. He's known for getting on base. He's speedy. Center fielder. Puts them in a really, really good position to start this game off.
So very quickly, runner on first, nobody out for the Dirt Dogs. That first pitch to number 83, Rory Finn, in there for a called strike. Getting the ball today for Collegeville in this winner-go-home is number 11, Pat Carney, who we saw in Game 1 here just a week ago today.
Interesting here for Rory Finn, at least from what I could tell on the Perky Valley League website, has not played a game so far in this playoffs.
Correct.
So it'll be interesting to see how he does today after sitting for so long.
Yep, a DNP all-series for him, getting the start here in Game 5.
Could be really tough, not being in a groove hitting. Hey, we see it with the Phillies all the time in their platoon system. That's what everyone blames it on.
That pitch runner goes. It gets through the catcher Riley's legs into the backstop. And Junker's going to try to advance to third, and he will without a throw. So Junker able to take 2 bags there on the wild pitch. Might go down as a pass ball, actually, as that got through the legs of Riley.
I was going to say that tends to be one of the things the Dirt Dogs, or sorry, not the Dirt Dogs, the White Sox are lacking, is that their catchers are not the best blockers in the world, and they can have a lot of passed balls. And so that's just something that they have to really clean up if they want to win this game.
As that pitch is whacked, left center field, it's going to get down for extra bases. Junker will score easily. Finn rounds first and will have himself an RBI double.
Quick start to this game for the Dirt Dogs. It's something we haven't really seen in this series before. Not what you want if you're Collegeville. They have not done well at scoring runs as of late, and the Dirt Dogs are have the most runs scored in the regular season of the Perky Valley League. So they're really showing why they deserve to be here and why they deserve a spot in the finals.
And also, congrats to Rory Finn. Like you said, first at bat in these playoffs, and he gets an RBI double immediately, aided by a pass ball maybe, but still, that was a well-hit ball, and I honestly wouldn't have been surprised, considering the speed of Junker, for him to go first to home on a gap ball like that.
So another runner in scoring position for Garrett Mathias. First pitch to him, in there for a called strike. That's a good point, Tyson. Rory Finn, you can't argue with 1,000 batting average in these playoffs. Huge early momentum for the Dirt Dogs. They've seemingly carried it over from their games 3 and 4 wins. 0-1, just a bit inside.
Mathias batting .222 this series. Nothing outstanding. He's got an on-base percentage, though, of .500. So that's really where he shined.
Yeah, 2 for 9 in the series with an RBI and 2 runs scored, but also 5 walks. That'll amount to that on-base percentage. That pitch is on the ground to the first baseman, Clark. Easy play for him. Finn will advance to third, 1 away.
Not the worst case scenario for Matthias. I mean, no outs, advance the base runner to third base. Give a chance to Big Joe Gorla, who had a home run in game 1, to try to drive in this runner on third.
That he did, a monstrous 2-run homer over the right field wall in game 1. That pitch on the outside corner for a called strike.
Really nice pitch by Carney. These umpires have been given the outside strike all series long. Another example of that.
0-1. Up and out. Gorla 3 for 13 in the series, batting .231. He's got 3 RBIs, 3 runs, and a walk, including that game 1 homer. 1-1. Swing and a miss.
See there why he had a home run. A lot of power in that swing. Just attacks the ball.
Carney set. 1-2. Poked down the right field line. It'll get foul out of play.
I wonder for Gorla how much benefit he gets from having someone like Matthias in front of him. You think about, whether it's Bohm, whether, whoever's the 4 batter for the Phillies, the teams that want to pitch around Bryce, well, they can't, or they can, and now they can't pitch around the next guy. So I wonder how that works for Gorla as well.
1-2 pitch gets by the catcher Riley again, and Finn will score easily. Another pass ball for Collegeville. And the Dirt Dogs lead 2-0 here in the top of the first.
Wow, that's just not what you want out of Carney. We usually don't see that. Usually a lot of control from Carney. He had very few walks in the regular season. Had a bunch in game 1. Game 1 he had 5 walks, but we were kind of attributing that to the heat. Well, sweat accumulating. Not as hot today, but not a great start whatsoever.
I imagine for Carney, not the hardest thrower. He must, though, have a lot of spin on his pitches. And maybe that's what's making it difficult for the catchers when the ball hits the dirt, is just the all that spin.
2-2 pitch. Fouled off. Might have got a piece of the catcher Riley.
And something else to look out for. Kevin Riley is now catching. We saw Kearns earlier in the season, or earlier in the series, rather. He was spectacular. Maybe Riley's just having some issue trapping this ball, getting in front of it. That's 2 pitches that gotten out of his control.
2-2 pitch is fouled off. Long and bad here for Gorla.
I imagine Gorla might have wanted to take that one. That's about as inside as you're going to get. I know it's probably tough. He assumed it was a curveball or something to come back in, but sometimes you just got to take it.
So that pitch is upstairs. It'll run the count full. Philadelphia jumping out to a 2-0 lead here after 3 batters. Just applying that pressure that's already on Collegeville. The 3-2. Outside for ball 4, and Gorla draws the walk.
Yeah, you mentioned applying the pressure right before that pitch. And that is a huge deal for Pat Carney. He's not typically down and out early on in these games. Usually he's pitching 0-0 games, 1-0 games, maybe even having the lead, as Collegeville has the fewest runs scored against them in the regular season of the Perky League. So a lot of pressure now, and you can see these pitches might be starting to drift out of his control. A nice one there, though.
Yeah, swing and a miss by number 51, Eden Brett Schneider.
I wouldn't be surprised if Pat Carney does more of that. You see with the Dirt Dogs, they are very, very aggressive, and that works for them. But at the same time, if Carney can sort of play, even with that fastball right there, you play sort of on that edge of what is the box, what isn't the box, and get guys to swing at stuff that they normally wouldn't. I think that's going to be really beneficial for him, considering that over time the Dirt Dogs seem to get used to pitchers very quickly.
Carney able to jump out 0-2 here against Brett Schneider.
Getting ahead in the count here is huge for Carney, as he obviously has not been able to do so far this game, but now it finally feels like he can pitch with some control and some kind of have it on his own terms instead of getting the terms dictated to him by the Dirt Dogs.
Brett Schneider 3 for 12 in the series, 3 RBIs, 2 runs, and 2 walks. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss.
And that's exactly what you need if you're Carney. Had a rough start, finding the zone, finding something that'll work, calm down these hitters. Maybe just some tricks for them to think about when they go in the dugout and then second guess the next time they're up to bat.
I'll ask this question to both of you guys. You think, obviously, it's more of a confidence boost to strike somebody out rather than fly out, but how necessary was that as compared to just getting it out in the field for Carney?
I think, yeah, definitely striking someone out is huge for your confidence. Able to throw 3 pitches by someone, especially after the tough start that Carney has had. I think that was a huge second out. And we'll see if he can build on this with Kehoe at the plate, as we see a nice pitch there.
I also feel like when you strike out, it's more you did the right thing than the other guy made a mistake. When it's a fly out, when it's a pop out, a bad grounder, you can put the ball in great spots, but if the hitter does the right thing, he can hit out of it. And so when the hitter can't even touch the ball, that means you're doing an amazing job. And so that's sort of the thing that you'll try to remember when you throw your next pitch. Is like, how did that feel off my fingers?
As that pitch is lined center field, Edgett has a beat on it and makes the catch for out number 3. However, not before the Dirt Dogs score 2 runs in their top half of the first inning. They lead it 2-0.
It's good to see Carney get out of that one. A little bit of help from the field all the way around. 1 strikeout in the frame. But now we were talking about pressure a little bit earlier. Pressure is on Collegeville right out of the gate. These bats must come alive. Pressure building even more so when you consider they've only scored 4 combined runs in each of the last 2 games. They've only gotten 2 runs in Game 3 and Game 4, and now they're already in a 2-run deficit.
And before we talk about our next pitcher, we also, just for you guys' information, Carney threw 25 pitches in that inning.
All right.
And I think I might actually be behind a little bit as well, so I'm being a bit conservative on him. And so if he's your best guy, which it seems like he is one of the best pitchers on this team, maybe Benny Wilson is the true ace. By either way, that's a lot of one of your best arms durability gone in such an important game. And so you need to make up for that on offense.
That's a great point, Tyson.
We see the starting pitcher here for the Dirt Dogs in Game 5, number 55, Ben Junker. So we have a rematch of our Game 1 pitchers, Carney for Collegeville and Junker for the Dirt Dogs. Junker had a pretty solid performance in Game 1. He kind of let it get away from him a little bit towards the end. 6 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, 5 walks, and 3 strikeouts.
And 114 pitches pitched, by the way. So a little surprised to see him, maybe. I mean, I know when we did that game,
so that was last Monday.
Week ago?
That was
Yeah.
a week ago today.
Yeah, so I guess realistically he can recover and be back. But I know personally the furthest I got was 105. And my shoulder just stung. Even the next week, you still could feel the soreness. There wasn't the same sort of pain, sharping pain you'd feel, but you still felt the soreness. So I'm just a little surprised that he's here. But it shows how much trust the team has in him and how important he is. And so I hope he does well.
Especially with that game, it was 105, 110 degrees on the turf. Even more wear and tear is going to be added to the shoulder there as you get dehydrated faster, sweating more. Impressive showing for him to be back out here.
His first pitch is inside. Leading off for Collegeville, number 13, Kyle Feaster.
Feaster's a guy who's got to get going here. Slow
1-0
going.
In there for a called strike.
Slow going in the last 2 games, but he was explosive the previous 2.
That pitch is chopped foul. Yeah, to your point, Ryan, 3 for 11 in the series. All 3 of those hits coming in Game 1 and 2. He was 0 for 3 in Game 4, 0 for 1. Excuse me, 0 for 3 in Game 3, 0 for 1 in Game 4. So he's got to get going for sure in the leadoff spot.
I mean, in Game 4, he did have 3 walks, and that is not nothing, especially being fast guy, being someone who steals.
That pitch is lined down the left field line. It is fair off the base of the wall. Feaster will round first and settle into second with a leadoff double.
And just like that, basically get exact same situation that Dawgs gave to Collegeville. Maybe without, I guess, the bloop single, but still, immediate hard hit ball. And these teams are so ready to play, so ready to compete.
Yeah, to your point, everyone is dialed in here. Stands looking pretty full today in comparison to the previous few. Everyone knows how important of a game this is. No one knows that more than the players. Really nice start there by Feaster.
So runner on second, nobody out for Austin Edgett. He skies that first pitch. Shallow right center field. Long run for the center fielder, Junker, but he's able to make the catch for out number 1.
And I'm happy Junker called that off. I mean, would it really affect the right fielder? Most of the time, no. But again, he's more looking into the sun. And often it's hard for corner outfielders to have sort of the right angle to see and then to be able to adjust their bodies to where they might have to throw it. So that's a good play for the center fielder to just take over and say, hey, I know you're closer, but probably better for me to take this.
That first pitch upstairs to Joey Lancelotti. We'll see if Collegeville can take advantage of that leadoff double by Feaster. Already trailing 2-0 here early. That pitch is fouled back.
In that Game 1 win, Lancelotti was the one who crossed home to seal the win for Collegeville in the bottom of the 7th. So he does his damage just by getting on base and letting the big guys behind him like Cody Clark and Colin Jensen drive him home.
1-1, lined right field. It'll get down for a base hit. Feaster being rounded home from third. The throw from Kehoe is offline. RBI single for Joey Lancelotti.
I mean, that's a tough play for really any outfielder. You just have to have as quick a delivery as possible, and when you do that, it can be very tough. I mean, you can see here, bend down quick as possible, and then you just got to throw it. I mean, maybe you get it a little lower just to make sure no one can advance, but still, it's just tough to get the right grip immediately to throw those balls.
At Lancelotti, RBI single cuts the deficit in half. One away here for Cody Clark.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Lancelotti try to take second at some point here.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. I thought Collegeville, with how aggressive their Dawgs have been, they might try to sort of equal that aggression.
2-0 pitch in there for a called strike. Clark in the series 5 for 14 with 5 RBIs, 2 runs, and a walk. But Ryan, like Feaster, he's one of those guys who was hitless in games 3 and 4.
Yeah, and I mentioned he's got to get going. He has a lot.
As the runner goes, pitch is lined right field. Kehoe going back, makes the catch. Lancelotti forced to retreat back to first base. So 2 away here, Ryan, as you were saying.
Yeah, I was mentioning their opening little crawl there, Cody Clark. You just said it. No hits, no RBIs in his last 2 games. It's going to continue on that out. He has to get going. He's known for driving in guys like Edgett, Lancelotti, and Feaster, the speedsters. The responsibility's got to fall on him.
Colin Jensen, the batter, here with 2 away. First pitch in there for a called strike.
To me, for Collegeville, that's got to be a pitch you gotta swing at. If Junker's going to throw a first pitch fastball like that, that's what Lansdale did against Conchi when Lansdale had their big win in Game 2. Is they saw a first pitch fastball, they know what a fastball looks like, and they're just like, all right, we're going to hit that until you stop. And so I think Collegeville needs to take that advantage as well.
0-1, that pitch is skied down the right field line, out of play. Jensen 5 for 15 in the series with 2 RBIs and a run scored. He was 2 for 4 with an RBI in Game 3. And then 1 for 3 with a run scored in Game 4.
Game 1, he had the He had the walk-off as well.
Yes, he did. 0-2. Fouled back.
He's also, in addition to being a great hitter, he's a really sound third baseman. Doesn't let a lot get by him. So he's a really fun player to watch on both sides.
We go again. The 0-2. Runner goes. The throw down. Not in time. Stolen base for Lancelotti.
And that to me is why I'm surprised Collegeville hasn't been more aggressive on the base running. We know that the catcher for the Dirt Dogs doesn't have the greatest arm. He has a good pop time, but I mean, Lancelotti didn't think he really had that great of a jump, and he still got in there with plenty of time. You just have to keep stealing, make the pitcher nervous.
Yeah, to your point there, Tyson, you kind of saw on his throw, it was a little bit, wasn't really a line drive to second base. It was more of a blooper over the head of Junker. So if you see that out of the catcher, that ball kind of having an arc in the air, it's got to be the green light every single time, especially with guys like Lancelotti.
1-2 is into the air, left center field. Diving catch by Junker. He's unable to make the catch. It falls out of his glove. A valiant effort by Junker. However, Lancelotti will score, and we are tied at 2.
It's so hard to keep the ball in your glove on plays like that. You saw, I mean, he just rolled over and just slightly pushed it out of his glove, and there's nothing he can do. He can't stop himself from recovering like that. And so that's just a tough play, and that's one of those times I'm sure technically it would be booked as an error, but I'd call that just a single. Like, that's just a good hit.
Yeah, the ground kind of forced that ball out. He had it in his glove, and then it looked like when his shoulder hit the ground on the rollover, like he said, that's what popped it out. To use
0-1 to Mike Hutchinson loses his bat.
To use a NFL term, gotta survive the ground to complete the catch.
Interesting. Me personally, even with wood bats, knowing that you can just take a standard bat grip and put it on there, I don't understand why everyone doesn't do that. It, to me, is the easiest thing to grip. You know, dry, rain, snow, I guess, because I did play in snow one time. But, yeah, just get some bat grip on that.
He did get some pine tar in that 0-2 pitch. Is skied left field. Brett Schneider, can of corn for him out there. Able to retire the side. However, Collegeville fighting back with 2 runs of their own to tie it up as we go into the top of the second. We'll stay right here to kind of give you guys a summary of the series so far. In Game 1, it was a thrilling back-and-forth contest that saw 10 of the game's 11 runs scored in the final 3 innings. The Dirt Dogs appeared to seize control when Joe Gorla launched that 2-run home run that we mentioned earlier in the top of the 7th to give the Dirt Dogs a 5-3 lead. But Collegeville responded immediately with 3 of their own in the bottom of the 7th before the Dirt Dogs could even record an out to steal Game 1. In Game 2, Collegeville came out hot, jumping out to a 4-0 lead after just 2 innings, and they never looked back. Their offense exploded for 6 more insurance runs. Cody Clark led the way with 3 RBIs, and Mike Kearns added 2 of his own. For Philadelphia, Sam Junker provided a bright spot with 2 hits, and Nathan Kress drove in a pair of runs, including a home run and a double, but it wasn't enough as Collegeville extended their lead to 2-0. However, Game 3 is when this series flipped on its head. Facing elimination, the Dirt Dogs dug deep and delivered a gritty comeback in Game 3 to stave off elimination. Down 1-0 heading into the 7th inning, they erupted for 4 runs to erase a brilliant outing from Collegeville's Jason Hughes, who struck out 8 over 6 innings, allowing just 1 run. Jack Carver matched him pitch for pitch, however, going 6 strong innings of his own and giving up just 5 hits and 1 run while striking out 7. Aiden Bretschneider came up clutch with a 3 RBI performance, and Sam Junker added 2 hits to keep the Dirt Dogs season alive. And the last game, Game 4, the Dirt Dogs carried that momentum and never let up, pegging Collegeville starter Chase Fisher with 4 runs in the first inning and never looking back. The Dirt Dogs pitching duo of Brett Schneider and Chase Fulford silenced the White Sox bats, combining to allow just 4 hits all game. Mike Hutchinson had 2 of Collegeville's 4 hits, but it wasn't enough as the Dirt Dogs evened the series at 2, forcing tonight's winner-take-all Game 5.
And there's no way you'd rather have it. Game 5, elimination game. This is what you dream of as a kid playing sports. No other moment you want to have.
That pitch is fouled back. Number 43, Nathan Kress, the batter.
I will say one team I won a championship with, you just never forget, especially that game-winning run in a series like this. And so, win or loss is going to be a huge memory for these guys to remember in their playing career.
The 1-1 is hit a mile high, shallow right field. Luzens, the second baseman, is under it and makes the catch for out number 1.
Yeah, relatively routine play, but you never know. He's kind of turned his back away from the sun. Smart body positioning there to make the catch just that much easier for him. Solid work to go down to send the first one down.
It can be really tough on those straight up balls, though, to just see how the ball is moving.
Yeah.
First pitch to Kevin Schmidt, flied again to the second baseman, Luzens. And he makes the catch again for out number 2. So quick couple outs here for Carney after that shaky first inning. Definitely a good sign for him, don't you think, Ryan?
Oh, without a doubt. We heard Tyson say on the pitch count it was 25 at the start of this inning. And that is a scary spot to be if you are the Collegeville management. But now 2 pitches, 2 runners down. That's absolute perfection. And a strike to boot.
Yeah, 0-1 now. The count to Chase Fulford.
I mean, this is sort of what you would expect from pitcher here from Carney, is just that he, doesn't throw the hardest, maybe doesn't have the technically greatest stuff in the world, but sort of similar to a Ranger Suarez, where he has, good sort of positioning. He knows where to put the ball, and when he's on, he's going to have those short innings where guys just hit themselves out. He doesn't have to do anything.
That 0-2 pitch is fouled back. Fulford 1 for 6 in the series. He was 0 for 3 in Game 1 and 1 for 3 in Game 3. However, he did not play in Games 2 and Games 4. So, getting the start here in Game 5 in the 9 spot. The wall 0-2. Upstairs.
Another part here about the Collegeville pitching. Just a little observation. I did see Benny Wilson throwing with the outfielder in between frames. And typically that's the sign that he is the next man up, which I think is the correct decision for Collegeville management. He is by far the ace of this lineup.
So after Carney able to get the first 2 guys in 3 pitches, Fulford battling a little bit harder here. The 2-2 is lined back up the middle into center field for a base hit.
Just a nice single there. Great hitting. Exactly what the Dirt Dogs needed out of those two quick outs. Just someone who battled. Raise up the pitch count a little bit. And I got the top of the lineup where they scored 2 runs with the first 2 guys getting on.
All 3 of those pieces of contact were directed towards the right field, right at that second base gap. Wide open, it appears, in comparison to the left field gap anyway. So I wonder if Sam Junker is going to try to direct his swings right at Luzens.
I mean, that makes sense considering the movement on Carney's fastball. Generally, you want to put that ball outside, especially against right-handed hitters. And
that pitch, again, to your point, Ryan, lined over the second baseman Luzens' head and into center field. Back-to-back hits for the Dirt Dogs.
At what point do you think about either bumping over your center fielder or right fielder a little bit? Because you'll see here, I mean, that last hit, center fielder edge, it was, from our perspective, to the left of second base. But now it looks like he's kind of settling a little bit more right of second base. Right fielder Feaster is way out there, and there's this astronomically huge gap.
Honestly, to me, I would move Feaster before moving Edgett, just because the idea is if they hit well, they're going to hit in between the center fielder. Like, they're going to hit between the gaps of the fielders. And so to me, the best way to shrink that gap is to make everyone more narrow, as opposed to the center fielder where you're going to move him. Sure, you move him more right, and now you have a gap in left field. So you got to sort of shrink the gap, knowing it's way harder to hit it down the line.
So that 0-1 is skied left center field, edge it over and to his right, makes the catch for out number 3. So a couple 2-out hits from the Dirt Dogs there in the top of the second, but Kearney able to get out of it. We will go to the bottom of the second on the Sports Fan Base Network. Score knotted up at 2. Welcome back here for the bottom of the second. Sports Fan Base Network. Score tied 2-2. First pitch of the inning in there for a called strike. Number 4, Cole Luzens, the batter. 7-8-9 for Collegeville.
Luzens has been hitting very well this playoff series. He's 400 in his 2 games played. He's got a couple of hits here in the early goings.
Yeah, 2 for 5 with a walk and 2 RBIs in the series. Didn't play in games 2 and 3. However, came back for game 4 and delivered a solid performance, 1 for 3 with an RBI.
Ryan, you and I know he can be a clutch hitter, as he did have that home run during the regular season at our first broadcast here together.
Yeah.
So he's got the power. He's got the chops. Now he's getting the opportunity, and hopefully he can make the most of it.
Yeah, this playoff series, his OPS is 1.1. He's been all over it this series when he has been playing. On-base percentage of 500.
That 1-2, good eye from Luzens inside. That'll make it 2-2. We'll see here if Ben Junker can kind of replicate what Kearney did in his second inning. Sort of settle down after giving up 2 first-inning runs to throw up a donut on the scoreboard. That 2-2 is skied. Third base, foul territory, and it's going to get out of play.
You know, I thought, like for Kearney, it was going to be, starting with a pop fly. I mean, that's what Kearney got with, I don't know if it was his first pitch, maybe his second pitch of the inning, but, I mean, he got 2 pop flies in a row, so. Yeah, that's what he was hoping for.
So Luzens will dig back in here. Junker into the windup. The pitch. Fouled off again down the left field line.
Second baseman who was very active that last frame. Doing a nice job of keeping himself alive here. Still 2-2.
That pitch is outside.
He's only been walked once this series, but there's 2.
Yep, so Luzens, hold on, we're going to get a conversation here. That might have been only a 2-2 count, so now it'll be 3-2.
Should have been the 4th.
And I'm
though.
not, yeah, I believe
That should have been
that
4th.
should have been the 4th ball. We're going to get a conversation between the Collegeville third base coach and the home plate umpire. I know we had it up on our score bug as 2-2 and then 3-2 and then
I think he's pointing at us.
Yeah.
not sure exactly what the home
They're
plate
calling a
umpire.
timeout.
I think he wants us to check it. Yeah.
So the count will remain 3-2.
I didn't know they did that here.
I didn't know we did that either. That's the first time that's happened.
Yeah, official review called for by the coach.
So Luzins thought he had himself a leadoff walk, but instead will dig in for this 3-2, which hits him in the back. And so after all that, Luzins will still make the trot to first base, just with a little bit more pain after taking that pitch off the backside.
You know, good amusement for Junker and Luzins. I mean, just a normal walk, and then accidentally hits him in the back. You know, you got to just laugh that off on both sides.
As we see a smile there from Luzins at first base.
Now we'll see the lefty here, Nick Todero. He had one strikeout, one walk, one hit by pitch in his last game, but he only played game 3 in this series.
Yeah, Ryan, I've done multiple Collegeville games so far this season. This is the first time I'm seeing Todero in the lineup. And
Yeah,
it's a big one at that.
Yeah, me too.
Squared to bunt that first pitch. Doesn't this time. And that pitch is down for ball 2.
Yeah, when I think of speedsters here, I don't typically think of Luzins. So I'm not sure if he's going to be set up for a steal here or not, but
Well, I think this is sort of part of the aggression that we were talking about that Collegeville is going to have. They're not going to have the same sort of idea with the Dirt Dogs where they hit everything and they run very aggressively. They might just throw off a bunch of fakes just to make the pitcher think a bit more, considering that their catcher, good at blocking, good at everything else, not the strongest arm, and so that can still work in your favor.
As we see a 4-pitch walk there to Todero, it's going to be cause for a Dirt Dogs mound visit. As Junker, after giving up 2 runs in the first inning, struggling again here in the second.
we're seeing bullpen start to get active for the Dirt Dogs.
I mean, compared to the first game where, you know, even though they lost, they had 2 more games to play with. This one, you have nothing left, so I imagine Junker is going to be on a much shorter leash than he was in game 1. Like we said, 114 pitches. So,
And I saw number 62 trot into the bullpen. That's Chris Gorla. Have not seen him pitch yet this series. Interesting to have him warming up with no playoff experience yet this year. In a huge spot.
Yeah, early in this ball game, danger signs for the Dirt Dogs. They've got runners on first and second, nobody out. For the 9 spot, number 24, Kevin Riley. Junker going to remain in the game. First pitch to Riley, squares the bunt, gets it down. It's going to be caught, actually, by Junker. Makes an acrobatic throw over to first base, not in time.
Yeah.
But regardless, a fantastic catch by Junker to hop off the mound.
really lucky there for Collegeville as Luzins, he was, you know, a third, maybe 2/5 of the way to third base. And if there was a fielder there, he would have been really, I mean, so obviously out. Of course, with the coverage, it worked out, but that would have been tough for Collegeville.
I got to say, I owe Junker an apology. I said that the bunt got down. I was not expecting him to make that athletic play like that. And it's a huge first out right after his mound visit.
And that was an athletic play by both squads. Junker, obviously we just talked about it, getting there to make the catch, but how about Todero being heads up and aware that he actually did get there in time, just got back to first in the nick of time.
As that pitch is skied left field. Brett Schneider started back, now works his way in and is able to make the catch.
Got a little nervous there for a second as I saw 3 guys converging all with their eyes to the sky. Sometimes you can see they run into each other or a little miscommunication. It drops right in between all three, but nice job by the outfield communicating.
Yeah, I thought with the shortstop so far in and how high that went, didn't think it was gonna go that far into the outfield.
I don't think any of them did.
So 2 away here for Austin Edgett. Flied out to center field in his first at bat. And a nice job by Junker there after that mound visit to get 2 quick outs. We'll see if he can finish the job and get this third one here the second inning. 0-1.
To me, that might have been a good place to step off, maybe throw something at second. I mean, wasn't so far away from second base.
So that 1-1 swung on and missed for strike 2.
Really nice placement there by Junker. Low and away. Got Edgett reaching.
Junker set. 1-2. Outside.
One thing to note here, Carney, 25 pitches in the first inning, 12 in the second, gets him to 37. Junker's at 41.
Wow.
So the tables have really turned in terms of pitch count for these two guys.
So that 2-2 swung on and missed for strike 3. Wasn't really sure there. A couple pauses by the catcher Schmidt and Edgett. But Junker able to work around the 2 leadoff singles by Collegeville. We will go to the top of the third on the Sports Fan Base Network. Score is 2-2 in this winner-take-all Game 5. Welcome back here for the top of the third inning. Score is 2-2. 3-4-5 set due up for the Dirt Dogs. Starting with Garrett Mathias. First pitch to him in there for a called strike. So Mathias coming into today's game 2 for 9 in the series. He was 2 for 2 in game 1 as that pitch swung on and missed. He was 2 for 2 in game 1 with 2 walks and RBI and a run scored. However, has not found himself a hit since that first game of this series. We'll see if he can get back on track here, down 0-2 in the count.
He's someone I expect to get going in this game. I mean, he's a consistent hitter in terms of season stats. It's kind of a weird slump he finds himself in the playoffs here.
As that pitch is on the ground to the first baseman, Clark flips it to Carney covering for out number 1.
Not a good start. I'll take the blame on that one. Garrett Mathias. That's the announcer's curse right there.
I mean, at the same time, when you're someone with the hitting chops of Mathias, every pitcher in the league knows you. Every pitcher in the league wants to get you out, wants to figure out how to get you out. So these sort of things can happen where the more there is a magnifying glass with the series, the more they sort of have counters for you.
One 1-0 to Joe Gorla. Down for ball 2.
He was certainly close to going. They're going to go on the first baseline. Says he did not on the check swing.
"2-0" fouled back. A hefty swing there from Gorla. He knew what he wanted. 2-0 in the count.
And where was that first base ump in the Tigers game on Friday when they ejected Bryce?
It was MIA in that one, definitely. As you see another foul ball from Gorla and a little bit of frustration as well. I think that might be 2 pitches in a row that he fouled off that he thinks he misses, or excuse me, he missed. Should have done better on. Carney into the windup. 2-2. Just a bit outside.
I mean, that can be the other part of short memory that I think people don't talk about is if you see a pitch like that, you swing and you miss, a lot of guys, their first thought is, oh, I should have had that, and they go up doing the same thing they did last time. Maybe you need to tweak this.
So that pitch swung on and missed for strike 3. Carney able to get Gorla swinging for out number 2.
And then you just need to adjust the smallest little thing.
Yeah, and I think part of that frustration comes, we were talking a little bit in the break. Tyson, you mentioned that Carney is a pitch-to-contact pitcher. He's really baiting people to swing, and when Gorla feels like he has it, it's just one little part of the pitch just isn't there. That's exactly what Carney wants to do to hitters.
It's the first pitch of Brett Schneider, skied right field. Feaster coming in and makes the catch. So a 1-2-3, top of the 3rd inning for Pat Carney. He's certainly started to settle down since that first inning. We will go to the bottom of the 3rd on the Sports Fan Base Network. Score is still 2-2. Welcome you back here for the bottom of the 3rd inning. That first pitch hits Joey Lancelotti. Collegeville very quickly with a runner on first here.
Well, he took one base last time he was up with a single, and now he takes one base again. This time, I guess not under his own control, but, you know, still, well, because he got hit, not, he's fine. But, yeah.
So after that hit by pitch, runner on first. Nobody out for Cody Clark. First pitch to him in there for a called strike. So I was just getting ready to say 3-4-5 for Collegeville, just like the Dirt Dogs in their half of the 3rd inning. However, Carney able to get the job done. 1-2-3 in his half. 0-1 is outside.
Yeah, pending a double play here. I don't want to jinx anything. This has been identical. Finally, it's been broken, the twin frames here.
As that pitch is skied right field. Kehoe going back. Settles under it and makes the catch for out number 1.
Cody Clark just not able to find his stride in these last 3 games.
Yeah, after 3 hits in game 2, is yet to find a hit since.
So maybe Kehoe has a magnet in his glove specifically for Clark. That's a second fly out to right field in a row.
Colin Jensen, the batter here, 1 away. Pick-off attempt. Lancelotti back safely.
It's a little closer than I think Lancelotti might have liked.
Still an aggressive lead there. The pitch just a bit down for ball 1. One-0 pitch. Runner goes. Throw down is not in time. Lancelotti with a stolen base.
I mean, you could pretty clearly see as the tackles come in, he slid to the far side. And like I said, somehow as a base runner, you just sort of get a sense when you need to go head first to get around it like that. And that's exactly what Lancelotti did. And it's a good base running.
Yeah, I think if that throw from Schmidt was more on the right side of the bag, he would have had a chance. Certainly was more on time than the previous stolen base from Lancelotti.
As that pitch is chopped softly to the pitcher, Junker, off to the mound. Makes a nice throw over to first and a nice stretch by Matthias for the second out.
Matthias made a lot of nice plays in game 1 that we saw, stretching out at first base. Saved a run or 2 from an errant pass over from third base, and right there I think he just did it again. Because Lancelotti would have certainly been headed home had that ball gotten past Matthias.
So a big at-bat in this ball game. Runner on third, 2 outs for Mike Hutchinson. That first pitch is lined right center field. Kehoe going back. It's going to split the gap and will be a ground rule double. And Collegeville takes a 3-2 lead.
Wow. That is huge. Saw right off the bat. Was just destined for the gap.
And the thing is, if you're Junker, there's nothing else with that run that isn't your fault. I mean, it's one walk. You know, hit the guy in the back and slowly makes it around, ground rule double. I mean, so he's really going to have that in his head more than anything else he gave up today.
Ground rule double especially. Just inches away from a home run. You know you kind of got bailed out there. As that ball bounced off the warning track, but it's got to be a huge ego boost for Hutchinson.
Yeah, who's played well as of late. He was 2 for 3 in game 4. And then 1 for 2 in game 3 with a walk and an RBI. And that's a good point you make, Ryan. If that ball doesn't bounce over the wall, the way with Hutchinson running, might have actually been able to take 3 on that. That ball was deep into the right center field gap as that pitch is on the ground to the shortstop, Finn. Nice play. Long throw across the diamond is in time.
It's a great play by the shortstop getting over there. I thought maybe that would just skip through, but then also great by Matthias to pick that ball far away from first base, keep his foot on.
Yeah, let's take a look at the replay here. Pure athleticism on the slide. Matthias on the stretch. Saw it right there. Beautiful. Just popping right back up, ready to go. Can't draw it up better there for the Philly Dirt Dogs.
However, Collegeville takes the lead on the Mike Hutchinson ground rule double. They lead 3-2 as we go to the top of the 4th. welcome back here on the Sports Fan Base Network for the top of the fourth inning. Collegeville leading 3-2 here. Jackson Kehoe leading off for the Dirt Dogs. One-0 pitch. It's outside. Yeah, and an interesting stat here, guys. Kehoe, as far as I know, might be the only player in this series to pick up a hit in all 4 games so far. 4 for 11 in the series with 4 RBIs. So he's riding at the minimum a 4-game hit streak. That pitch is hit a mile-high foul down the left field line.
Yeah, he's angry about that one. He wanted to get that one fair and out of this park. Immediately looking into the dirt. Maybe saying a couple of words we can't say on air.
So it also shows how adaptable his form is. I'm sure he's seen very different kinds of pitchers so far this series, and yet he's gotten a hit each time. Not easy to do. And so at least he has a form that can easily adapt to them.
2-1 is skied. Shallow center field. Edge it. Able to make the catch. Battling the sun, it looked like.
Yeah, as time progresses here, you can see in left field the shadows are starting to creep their way through. Sun's only getting lower. That's going to make it more and more difficult for the players on the right side of the field from our perspective to make plays defensively. So that's Feaster, who's probably going to have some issues. First baseman Clark might have some issues. And in certain cases, guys like Edgett in center field might have a few.
First pitch to Nathan Kress is outside for ball 1.
I think we actually mentioned this last time. All 3 of us were here with Matthias making all those great plays. He's battling the sun while making those, so even more props to him.
That pitch is hit in the air in the infield. Lancelotti, the shortstop, able to make the catch for out number 2. That was Nathan Kress there. As I was saying, Kehoe, I thought, was the only player to have a hit in every game this series, but it actually seems that Kress also coming into this game with a hit in every game of this series so far, 5 for 13 coming into today. However, flies out to the shortstop there for the second out.
See, that's his second pop fly today, so clearly, we see it seems like he's going for the long ball, but it might be affecting him, making him just get too far under.
0-1. It's outside.
Still no bullpen action for Collegeville. Shows you the confidence they have in Kearney. Meanwhile, on the other end, we also saw Sean McGettigan, number 72 for the Dirt Dogs. He's warming up in the pen right now.
1-1. Excuse me, the 1-2. Swung on and missed for strike 3. So back-to-back 1-2-3 innings for Pat Kearney. His Collegeville White Sox lead 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. welcome you back here for the bottom of the fourth inning. Sports Fan Base Network, Collegeville leading 3-2 in this winner-take-all Game 5.
See Nick Tadera up to bat. And if his most previous game he played's any indication, he already used up his walk after a 4-pitch walk. So his options left after at least going by his previous stat line. He's either going to get hit by a pitch or strike out here.
Well, that was a very quick 4-pitch walk there. Tadero, as you can see, kind of a shoulder shrug, got absolutely nothing to swing at.
So
and a shaky start to this inning for Junker. It's going to get a mound visit, and I believe that's probably going to be the end of his outing as we see some bodies in the Dirt Dog dugout, or excuse me, in the bullpen start to walk out towards the field.
yeah, that was so uncharacteristic of Junker that for a second I almost thought it was intentional, how far outside he was pitching and just how nonchalant he was about it, how he didn't even seem to really mind. But obviously that's not the case. He's getting pulled now. And it will be 72. That is Sean McGettigan.
Say McGettigan. Haven't seen him in the playoffs, but in the regular season, through 2 innings, gave up 1 hit, no earned runs, no strikeouts, no walks. That's it.
Pretty small sample size, obviously. Coming in here in a big spot, his team down 1 run. The bottom of the 4th inning.
And a much shorter leash now for Carney as he pitched 6 innings. 6 full innings the last time we saw him in Game 1. Now he's not going to get through 4.
Yeah, Junker and Carney, both 6 innings in that Game 1.
Junker, I apologize.
Well, I mean,
Carney's still doing great.
we said it before, just with how important this game is. You're gonna be on a short leash no matter what, and so I'm not surprised, especially a 4-pitch walk. I mean, you just don't have the time for Junker to get set up again and sort of work himself into the inning, especially when you're already down. So I'm not surprised. I'm sure Junker's frustrated, and I'm sure the coach, wanted to see Junker do well again, and unfortunately just had to make a tough decision there.
Yeah, and Tadero has seen 8 pitches today, and all 8 of them balls. So he has been...
That's probably why we saw that shoulder shrug there. He's gotten absolutely nothing to swing at all game.
Yeah, it's been an easy day for the DH.
Say it's weird because, you're happy to get on base. Everyone's happy to get on base, but it's not the same as feeling, the bat on the ball.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel earned, even if it's certainly 4 balls in a row and none of them are really close. Then it especially doesn't feel earned. If you fight through a count and then you get in there, then it's like, all right, yeah, I worked for this, but no, he basically could have been sitting and would have been fine.
So McGettigan ready, steps on the rubber after his warm-up pitches. Will come in here to face Kevin Riley with a runner on first. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch he throws is downstairs for ball 1.
I have to say, at least from the warm-ups, I can see why he is sort of a trusted closer. He has some nasty stuff out there now. Hopefully he can find the zone after some time, especially in a tough situation.
The 1-0 is skied out of play.
Yeah, but he's going to have a lot of work to do. Only 1 inning pitched that we've heard of. Now he's going to face 3. Four innings, actually. I apologize because he came in early in the 4th.
One on the ground to the third baseman, Kress, who bobbles it, and nobody's going to have a play. I believe that'll probably go down as an error on the third baseman, Nathan Kress.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Gotta see the ball in, gotta catch it before you can throw it. Could see he tried to flip that ball up to his throwing hand before it was even in the glove.
very different from, I mean, a diving play. You know, that's so much effort put out there. It shows you're in a situation that's just tough to be successful in. So that's why I didn't give it an error. That one he just had. That's an easy ball.
It's that throw down to first base. Nice catch by Matthias to keep that ball in the infield.
It looked like Matthias wasn't quite ready for that pickoff attempt from the catcher.
See, personally, I don't like that back pick there. Just with the situation, that ball goes by, especially if the first baseman's not ready. I mean, at least one base advance. It could even be two.
Yeah.
Good timeout.
Feaster gets the timeout call just in the nick of time. Long pause by McGettigan there, trying to freeze the runners on base as he anticipates Feaster's going to square to bunt again.
I mean, that's the thing. If it feels too long, you know it's too long. Call timeout.
Feaster squares. He does get it down. It's a good one. It's going to be fielded by Schmidt, who makes a throw over to first to retire Feaster. However, the runners do advance. Sacrifice bunt.
That was beautiful placement. You would have wanted it a little bit more down the third base line if you're going to be nitpicky, but can't ask for much more out of a sacrifice bunt from Kyle Feaster.
See, I actually like that one a lot. Just again, you're dealing with turf where often there's nothing slowing down the ball. So just trying to go as light as possible. Yeah, it gets fielded by the catcher. And luckily, Feaster was the one who got out, but it's so tough where if he hits that more normally, it could just go straight to batter, and guy in third is out, and you're in a much worse situation.
So 2 runners in scoring position here for Austin Edgett. Dirt Dog infield playing in on the infield grass. We're going to try to prevent any ball from getting through. The 1-0 is on the ground and through the right side into right field for a base hit. 1 run is in. The throw from Kehoe not in time as Riley crosses the plate. And
good.
Collegeville leads 5-2.
So also good base running there by Edgett. When there's a play at the plate like that and you know no one's looking at you, take an extra base. Take second for free. But great piece of hitting, and I thought that honestly guy rounding from second did not have a shot, but that was great base running.
Yeah, it was great base running. And kind of to build off that point, Tyson, I thought Kehoe's throw was in time, but just not enough on the tag. Not sure if it was awkward positioning or what, or just the speed from Tadero.
Crazy enough, those are the first 2 runs that McGettigan has given up all year.
Wow.
So there you go.
Well, you wonder if the bullpen's going to warm up once again for the Dirt Dogs. No activity right now.
The 0-1 pitch gets by the catcher Schmidt. Going to bounce off to the left, and Edgett's going to take third.
Look, I know it's a really hot day. I know this catcher's padding makes you sweat, wears you down. It's heavy. You're tired. I completely understand. But maybe this is my personal opinion, if he hustled to that ball, there was a chance he puts that in a tough position for the base runner. Instead, he just gingerly walks over there, doesn't even try. In a semifinal game, I feel like that's a little unacceptable.
1-1 is on the ground to Finn, who looks the runner back, fires over to first, well in time for out number 2.
Especially with just 1 out. Sorry to harp back to it.
You know, personally, obviously, CUNY, you are correct. You know, catcher maybe could have put in some hustle. Me personally, I would have liked to see the pitcher run out there as well. Was he going to field it? Probably not. But when the catcher runs out like that, let's say the catcher does make a play. Now there's no one at home. If maybe there's a bit of a bobble and someone comes home, so should go in and back that up. You know, or he could maybe field it himself.
Yeah.
Which is personally, when it was hot, as a pitcher, I liked doing more.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to keep my catchers, you know, from being dehydrated, even if it hurt me. So, again, that's a personal. Ooh, yeah.
Clark might have hit himself in the head or the face with that pitch. It took a weird ricochet.
Yeah, it looked like it bounced. He hit it foul straight into the ground. It looked like it bounced back with some backspin and caught him in the cheek. But, yeah, I mean, back to our points here, Tyson. I mean, this is an elimination game to get into the finals. It's a huge moment. You're 2-2 in the series. At least try.
Yep.
At least look like you're putting the effort in. But it's neither here nor there.
So that pitch is line right field. It's going to go foul. So 1-2 count here, bottom of the fourth inning. 2 outs, Collegeville leading 5-2.
It'd be really nice if Clark could just put an exclamation point on this frame here.
1-2 pitch. Fouled off yet again. And I want to make a point before we continue here. We actually have Chase Fulford over there at shortstop for the Dirt Dogs and Rory Finn at second base. The lineup card we were given kind of had crossed out numbers and such, so we weren't really sure exactly who was where, but we now see it's Finn at second base and Fulford at shortstop.
Well, great play by Fulford either way.
McGinnigan has his sign and comes set. 2-2. It's on the ground to Fulford, who was able to make the play, fire in time for out number 3.
And an amazing amount of time there. I don't think I've seen someone take like a full, what we in the outfield call a banana route,
Yeah.
and then shuffle, and then throw the ball.
I mean, Fulford's got a rocket for an arm, so I guess he can get away with it. See the replay here. Thias sure-handed as always.
Collegeville leading 5-2 as we go to the top of the 5th inning on the Sports Fan Base Network.
Welcome you back to the Sports Fan Base Network, where here in the top of the 5th, the score is 5-2. Collegeville with the lead. Chase Fulford is going to be the leadoff man this frame, followed by Sam Junker and Rory Finn. But they've got their work cut out for them, as Pat Carney, the Collegeville pitcher, has retired 7 consecutive batters. First pitch outside a ball. 6 of those outs have come from the field in play. Only 1 strikeout. Really highlights our previous points about him being a pitch-to-contact pitcher. Check swing down the middle, strike called.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it, and you see even with the Phillies with someone like Ranger Suarez, where his long at-bats are ones where guys aren't swinging a lot, where guys are patient, or they're just fouling off a lot. So you can see here when
A swing and a miss. Got him. It was 1-2 the count previous to Fulford. But now it's 8 straight for Kearney. He has really hit his stride after that really tough first inning. Hasn't let up a run since. Still no bullpen activity for Collegeville.
I mean, he's at 59 pitches. I mean,
Yeah.
you can easily go for the rest of this game.
Yeah, and I'm starting to think the strategy, however, a 3-run lead isn't insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination, but I think Collegeville is just going to ride with Kearney as long as they can and try to save their arms for, what could potentially be game 1 of the finals tomorrow.
Pitch low and away, called strike.
And honestly, the name that we always call is Benny Wilson out of the bullpen. He's usually that first guy to come out of the bullpen and shut things down. Do they consider trying to save him and get through tonight and then have him start tomorrow night at Lansdale? That's a question that we won't have an answer to, but we will soon, as Kearney just keeps on dealing.
And I'd certainly like that strategy, considering how well Lansdale hit against Conshohocken. You should get your best guy, or someone who we think is their best guy, ready to go for that game 1. Put a statement on that game saying, yeah, we're here. You may have gotten the better of us in the regular season, but playoffs are what matters.
2-2 pitch coming from Kearney. Right on the upper corner. Got him looking. Sam Junker goes down.
Yeah, I think that's a pitcher's pitch there on the outside corner. Junker certainly didn't agree with it too much, had a little bit of words for himself, maybe a little bit of words for the home plate umpire, but regardless, Pat Kearney absolutely dealing. That's now 9 in a row.
Certainly feeling himself. Now he's going to face off against Rory Finn. At second base. Swing and a miss for Finn.
It's been hard for us to judge just because Junker and Kearney earlier, when they've thrown high, they've thrown very clearly too high. That was sort of the first pitch that was high, but close to the zone. And so, me personally, I thought that was a little out. But certainly, compared to the others, yeah, that's in the zone.
2 down by strikeouts. Kearney's looking for his third. He's got him. 3 up, 3 down, all off the hand of Pat Kearney. 3 strikeouts in the frame.
Yeah, that's the 6th strikeout today. And just there, I mean, a curveball down the middle. I'm genuinely surprised that Dirt Dogs are letting that go. You got to swing at something like that. And as a righty especially, you're never going to get anything easier to hit and easier to hit over that fence.
And time's starting to dwindle away here as we head into the bottom of the 5th. Sean McGettigan's going to take his spot on the bump. We'll take a quick break here. You're watching the Perky League Semifinals on Sports Fan Base Network. Back here in the bottom of the 5th, Collegeville looking to do some more damage here. Sean McGettigan's first pitch, line straight to Finn, and Finn completes the easy out.
That makes it 1 for 3 today. Jensen, a single in the first inning, and now 2 weak grounders in the infield. So hopefully you can find a better connection with the ball later in this game if they need it.
Yeah, and while that was weak connection, I definitely agree with the first pitch swinging mindset there. They've got the lead here, up 3. Game starting to dwindle down here, trying to put the pressure on the Dirt Dogs as much as they can as they get into their bullpen. Saw a pitch he liked and just couldn't get a hold of it like he wanted to, but good aggressive mindset from Collegeville. We'll see if they can keep that up.
Hutchinson just saw a nasty curve from McGettigan on that first pitch. Now the count falls to 1-1. Hutchinson ground rule doubled his last time up. To the right center gap. The pitch hit. That's going to find grass, and he will trot to first base as Junker fields it.
Yeah, really nice piece of hitting there. Straight back up the middle for Hutchinson. He adds to his 3 hits in the series. I believe that's his first of the day today.
Yeah, the double earlier.
Yeah,
the ground
he
double.
did. Yeah, that was his last appearance. What am I saying? So that's his second hit of the day. He's certainly a player in very good form at the plate.
Now it's second baseman Luzin's turn. I mentioned we've seen Luzins go yard. He hits that one high and shallow into center field. Coming up to greet it is Junker.
You know what, Straub, you had a really good point. You know, when you have a guy that throws some nasty stuff and you figure out sort of what's the easiest for you to hit and you see it, it is good to take it. At the same time, for the White Sox, you have a guy who's dealing in Carney 25 pitches in the first inning and then 12, 9, 9, and 12 again. So he's just dealing right now. And so getting these, even if that's not necessarily helpful, getting through these innings quickly means your best pitcher or your guy who's doing so well right now gets to go back on the mound and keep that momentum, keep that feeling of the ball in his hand, as opposed to you have a big inning, he's sitting there forever, he sort of can lose that.
2 outs. That first pitch called strike to Todero. Mike Hutchinson keeping his lead off first despite multiple pickoff attempts. McGettigan kicks, steals. Ball is rocketed back into the safety netting for 0-2.
And you can see now with McGettigan, sort of compared to before, his slide step is trying to be so fast. Again, making up for the fact that his catcher, he can't throw that hard.
That pitch inside. First ball of the at-bat for Todero.
Yeah, as we mentioned previously, his first 2 at-bats were both 4-pitch walks, so he's finally seen some strikes and seen something in the zone. I imagine we might get one here with a 1-2 count. We'll see if he can finally swing the bat tonight.
Runner goes. Todero hits it past the first baseman. But McGettigan's there to cover. Todero's going to go down, but that's going to do it for the 5th inning. So we'll head into the top of the 6th. Philadelphia Dirt Dogs needing to make up some ground. They're down 3 here on the Sports Fan Base Network. you back here to the top of the 6th, where Garrett Mathias is going to lead it off in a critical inning here. He's facing off against the red-hot Pat Carney. Carney's first pitch way outside, but we're in the meat of the lineup here for the Philadelphia Dirt Dogs.
Yeah, Mathias grounder to second and then a grounder to first for his first 2 at-bats, so really needs to get something going here. I mean, there are not many chances left for these Dirt Dogs.
This could be the last time we see this side of the lineup, especially with the way Carney has been dealing today. Here's the pitch. A little bit low. 3-0 is the count.
Yeah, Mathias unable to pick up a hit since that 2-for-2 performance in Game 1. However, he does have 5 walks in the series, so he's at least somewhat finding a way to get on base. But nothing doing yet today.
That last pitch right down Main Street. 3-1 the count.
Wouldn't be surprised pitchers are pitching around him, but, you know, they need some here.
Swung on and hit. It's a blooper. Looking for the gap. Sliding catch not made. Mathias is going to hold up at first. Effort from Hutchinson and the throw off line. Luckily, Cody Clark was there to back it up. Otherwise, Mathias was going to go.
Yeah, that throw in the second base, that wasn't offline. Luzins was just battling the sun. You can kind of tell he tried to throw his hands up and his glove up to try to block the sun. He was unable to do so. And as you mentioned, Ryan, a heads-up play by Cody Clark there to back up the throw, or else Mathias would advance to second.
Nice thing for Mathias. I mean, not maybe the way you want to start off hitting in this game, but everything counts, and you'll certainly take it at this point instead of a weak grounder.
The 10-batter retired streak ends for Carney after he struck out 4 of the last 10, getting out 10 of the last 10, and Mathias is there to end it. Now we see Gorlo rip one straight through the center field gap. Mathias is going to safely make it to second.
Yeah, nice piece of hitting there from Gorla. And I'll tell you guys, I looked over to the Collegeville dugout as soon as that ball got into center field, and the Collegeville head coach turned around, pointed at number 9, Benny Wilson, and stuck his thumb up and said, go to the bullpen. And that's what we're seeing over here now. As Benny Wilson is going to enter the bullpen, Chase Fisher going to go out there with him. That's something we saw in Game 1 as well. They're going to warm up together and kind of just have a catch in the bullpen, get their arms loose, and I'd imagine we're certainly going to see Benny Wilson first.
He is an elite closer. We mentioned him as the ace. As Brett Schneider's showing bunt, pitch inside, he pulls away in time.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you got to do as a pitcher. Sometimes people do that just to fake, and so you throw a little inside to say, hey, if you're going to bunt, do it. And so now probably going to see something.
That pitch low and away. 2-0 now the count. Still no outs. But the tying run is at the plate for the Dirt Dogs. Brett Schneider certainly with enough power. Fouls that one behind.
Yeah, I got to say, at least my coaches that I grew up with, they would not be happy with what Brett Schneider's doing. Technically, this is what is referred to as a slash, showing bunt and then hitting. You see it a lot more in Japan, and then it was brought over here, and it's just sort of seen as a dirty play because third baseman runs in, can get hurt.
He pushes that one deep to right field. Coming up to greet it is Feaster. Feaster's under it, and he'll hold runners in their positions. First man down of the frame.
Yeah, nice catch by Feaster out there in right field. He started back, as you're always taught to do as an outfielder. Take that first step back. It's easier to sprint in rather than run back. And sprinting in did he have to do. Able to stick out his right arm and make the catch.
I think it's important that he also stays on his feet just because it sort of lessens the threat of, say, maybe Mathias trying to tag for third. I mean, probably wouldn't because of the distance, but still just took away that option entirely.
Jackson Kehoe finds a gap. Mathias going to hold up at third. We've got bases loaded now for the third baseman, Nathan Kress.
Yeah, I want to correct myself. Feaster out there in right field sticks out his left arm to make the catch as he is a right-handed throwing player. But, yeah, the Dirt Dogs absolutely threatening here. Cause for a mound visit. I'm curious to see if they're going to stick with Carney. They're going to bring the infielders in. And I got to say, if I were Collegeville, I would give Kearney this last batter. I would give him Nathan Kress right here and see how he handles it. And if he, gives up a base hit, maybe gives up a walk, it would be Benny Wilson time. And if he's able to get Kress, I think you go ahead and give him the next batter too. See if he can work himself out of this inning. He's pitched extremely well so far today. Give him the benefit of the doubt. See if he can get out of the inning and then go from there.
So I absolutely agree with that. I mean, right now, turn double play, nothing is of consequence here. And so, yeah, as soon as you give up the run, you maybe take the ball out of his hands. But until he gives up that run, then I think you just keep him in. And like we said before, you have the championship tomorrow. And so you don't need to give more guys innings than they need to if you can survive it.
Yeah, none of these guys, with the exception of Jackson Kehoe, are especially known for their speed. Matthias, the big first baseman. Gorla, the designated hitter. Here's the pitch to Kress, swing and a miss. So not necessarily a huge threat to tag up unless it's a deep shot.
And I'm looking at the alignment here. Feaster is really deep in right field. He's only probably about 10, 15 steps from the warning track, whereas Edge It Out in center and Hutchinson in left are much more shallow. And that could just be because of the lefty at the plate and that psychology of the pull effect.
Well, absolutely. You know that for hitters, they're looking to elevate the ball and get it far. And so it also makes sense for the left fielder to be further in, because often if it's going to go in the air to left and it's not perfect contact, it's going to be really short.
Here's the 0-2. Kress checks swing. We'll head down the first base line.
Now I think we're going to get a timeout here. Pitch might have caught Riley behind the dish.
Oh.
As he looks a little shaken up.
He's rubbing his hand off, yeah. It's a good eye there. Ryan Straub.
I love what the ump did there, and I think it's good for catches to do as well. If, say, the home plate ump gets hit, sure, Riley could be fine. Just take that walk. Just take that quick walk. Again, not going to change anything in the game, but just give that respect and give that time. And, usually guys appreciate it.
Base is juiced. 1-2 the count. Nathan Kress with a chance to put his team ahead by 1. Here's the pitch from Kearney. Swung on, fouled back. Kress doing a nice job of staying alive.
Say something to mention for this inning. 2 guys were 0-2 to start, got their first hits right now. So you're sort of seeing that effect of third time through the lineup, guys can start to figure out. So see how this ends.
And I'm looking over at the Collegeville bullpen very quickly. Fisher and Benny Wilson have stopped throwing. They are watching this pitch.
That one is hit deep to right field down the first base line. It's going to be foul and caught by Feaster. Tagging up, headed home is Matthias, and he's going to get there safely. And Gorla advances to third base. So a sacrifice fly is a big one to get one runner to score for the Dirt Dogs.
That's one there I might think about not catching. I know it's a free out. It gets you further into that inning. At the same time, I personally trust Kearney to get something better than that. And I know I'm not going to be able to throw anyone out. And so I might just let that one go. But
so now it's Kevin Schmidt. He gets a piece of that one. He finds a gap. One run's going to score. Runner headed to third base. Once again, we've got runners on the corners. And suddenly, this is a 5-4 ball game.
Yeah, Tyson, to build off of what you were saying before that pitch, that would definitely cross my mind as that pitch went foul down the right field line, not knowing if Feaster was going to decide on making the catch or not. He could let that drop foul and redo the count, or he could guarantee an out, but then also guarantee that they're going to give up a run. There's no chance he's going to be able to throw that runner out at home. And so an interesting decision there, a tough one nonetheless. I agree with you that you probably do catch that ball in that situation and give Kearney another batter. Unfortunately for Collegeville's sake, they weren't able to get that out, as we now have it a 5-4 game. But to build off your point, yes, I agree that was an interesting decision and a tough one for Feaster. But we've got the Dirt Dogs with some momentum now.
It's going to force a pitching change. Benny Wilson going to take over for Collegeville. So far this playoff series, he's got 7.1 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 runs allowed.
Yeah, one of the best pitchers for Collegeville. At the same time, again, to reference, what's going on?
The umpires signaled to us a little bit. I'm not quite sure what the signal was.
It might have been, one of those substitutions like number 9 for number 11 or something like that. I'd
Yeah,
imagine
that's
that's what
what I
that was.
Yeah, he kept doing it over and over again. I was like, we've got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, a common saying I heard from my outfield coach in college was, if you have to move 5 feet to your left or 5 feet to your right, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be in a position to throw someone out. And so you saw for the Dirt Dogs that Matthias and Gorla, they both immediately knew, oh, he's running that far. If he catches it, I have to tag. There is no option, even if I'm, slow as molasses, I have to tag. Not saying they are, but no matter what, you knew he's never going to be in a position to get his momentum right and also get his feet right to throw that ball. And so that is where my hesitation comes from on a play like that, for those who are curious. But again, I think you can go either way on that. That's sort of one where you have to know your pitcher. There are definitely pitchers who I knew, who I would, we sort of talked about that as we shared an outfield together, and he'd be like, yeah, I'd rather you drop that.
Yeah.
And I talked to other pitchers who would like, no, I'd rather you.
And I figured out what that signal was, I believe. In addition to the Benny Wilson substitution, we've got a pinch runner on first base. That was Kevin Schmidt, the catcher, who just hit that ball. So we're going to bring up Chase Fulford, but it's not Kevin Schmidt on first base. Instead, it's Paul Sifra, number 49 in the white helmet. On third base remains Jackson Kehoe. So 2 a little bit quicker guys in comparison to when you had Matthias and Gorla all aboard. But now we see Fulford, the chance to tie this game up. 1 runner in scoring position.
Yeah, huge at-bat here in this game. And if you're Collegeville, giving the ball to your best guy and telling him, hey, go get 4 outs and we're in the finals. It's going to be tough here. This first out's going to be the hardest of those 4, obviously with the runner on the corners. We'll see if Benny Wilson can get the job done for the White Sox.
Yeah, without a doubt. And for Benny Wilson, the pressure is on, but he's no stranger to it. His first pitch, that's going to be a ball, and Sifra is going to take second.
Yeah, you just got to let that go, especially new pitcher in there. All he needs to think about is the batter. You have 2 outs. No reason to throw down, complicate things, give up a run, and maybe more.
That pitch is swung on and hit center field. Going back to get it is the second baseman, but coming up to make the catch is Edgett. So that's going to do it for the top of the 6th. Damage done nonetheless. 5-4 is the score. So it's a big piece in a potential Dirt Dogs comeback. Collegeville looking to expand their lead. But we'll head to break, and coming up is the bottom of the 6th inning on the Sports Fan Base Network. here on the Sports Fan Base Network in the bottom of the 6th. Collegeville up to bat. Kevin Riley, the catcher, in the box. And we're still seeing Sean McGettigan on the bump for the Dirt Dogs.
Last time Riley was up, an error by the third baseman is how he got on. Other than that, it was a bunt attempt that went straight to the pitcher. Counted as, I guess, a pop fly. So, again, probably wants a solid hit now, especially to help his pitcher.
That 2-0 pitch makes the count a 3-0 as it was low and away. Solid work here by Riley to get ahead in the count early. And that's a 4-pitch walk. He'll trot to first base and bring up the top of the lineup, Kyle Feaster. This is where Collegeville has been the most dangerous.
So, yeah, single in the first inning, fly out to left and ground out. But I guess now, team talk.
Yeah, we'll get a mound visit here. No bullpen action for the Dirt Dogs, so this will just be a conversation.
You wonder if they're out of pitchers. I mean, we know that Kehoe has the ability to pitch, but the last time we saw him, frankly, didn't do so well. A couple of pitches yielded the Collegeville comeback in the bottom of the 7th. But if they're running out of options here and starting to lose confidence in Sean McGettigan, makes you wonder what the plan is for the Dirt Dogs.
Say maybe it's something to just talk about the base runners again. There's only so much they can do, and so maybe it's just sort of getting everyone up to speed. Also could be watching for a bunt as we see the third baseman so close.
Yeah, this runner on first here is huge in this game. If you're Collegeville, you would love at least one extra run of insurance to give Benny Wilson. 3 outs to go. 3 outs and you're in the finals. And a 2-run lead is so much more comfortable than a 1-run lead, and we'll see if they're able to get that across after that leadoff walk.
McGettigan delivers inside and high. And get him for ball 2.
Yeah, just continue what you're saying there, Straub. Just every additional run you have means, Benny Wilson can have a base runner on and not be too worried. And so, again, just everything you can do for your pitcher, so helpful in these situations.
McGettigan struggling to get it over the plate. 2-1 the count.
Sorry, everyone. I'm apparently messing up our producer. I apologize.
I'm just going by the hand signals here. That one going to be another ball. 3-1 now, the count to Feaster. McGettigan's got to center himself here. This is a critical inning for the Dirt Dogs' potential comeback. He kicks, he deals. Low and away, ball 4.
And this is why you need to start off well in each inning, start off with first pitch strikes. That was so close, and maybe as you sort of saw with Carney, as he had a lot of first pitch strikes, that's where you get those pitcher-friendly spots, those pitcher-friendly calls. But when you start with a 4-0 walk or just have start with a bunch of balls in general, umps are going to be less likely to give you that call. Even though it's supposed to be a stagnant box, they're human, and everyone knows that. Everyone playing knows that, and so that's just sort of your job as a pitcher to make sure you get that zone.
I see a little mound visit here. Schmidt having a word with McGettigan. Quick one here, not involving the entire infield, but still no bullpen activity for the Dirt Dogs as Edgett finds himself in an opportune situation.
Yeah, we're almost certainly, I would imagine, going to see Edgett square to bunt here. His job is just to get that bunt down, get the runners in scoring position, and try to get some insurance runs, as we just mentioned earlier. There it is.
Good eye there, Straub. Yeah, with no outs especially. And now 1-0, he's ahead in the count. Edgett just looking to advance the base runners. Gettigan's pitch is hit down the third base line. Fouled.
I think generally I agree that this is sort of the time where you do bunt. My only hesitation is that McGettigan hasn't quite found the zone, at least to start this inning.
So again, sort of giving him free strikes, not my favorite thing to do. I mean, to me, if this was the second batter and there's a guy on second, I'd be like, yeah, bunt 100%. 2 walks in a row, that's where I'm like, okay, let's hold off a little bit. Maybe make him throw a strike first and then go for it. But again, I'm not the coach here.
Gettigan's pitch is hit this time by Edgett fair. Base runners will advance, and Edgett will be out. Just barely. He thought he could run it out. But a nice catch there from Matthias to make sure Edgett goes away.
Yeah, really nicely done there by Edgett to get that bunt down over towards third base as well to force Kress to have to come in and field it. And when Kress has to come in and field that from his third base position, they're forcing the shortstop Fulford to make that long sprint over to cover the bag at third. Almost impossible for the Dawgs to be able to get the out at third base. So a nice job by Edgett there to move the runners over, and we're going to see, it looks like an intentional walk here to Lancelotti.
It's an interesting move here to load the bases up for Cody Clark. Granted, Cody Clark has been struggling these most recent 3 games.
And I think this might be just in the effort of enforcing a force play at any bag. So the middle infielders will stay back here. Obviously, Cody Clark does not run with the best of them, so a ground ball to the middle infield could be a double play ball, and they could get out of it, and I think that's probably the thought process behind the bases here.
I mean, probably a bit of both. Someone.
The curse, 1 run is going to score. And
And for Collegeville, that looks like it's going to be the end of the.
You can, but again, sometimes you just have to be more conservative. Again, maybe if he.
team with
And the of how this here in the top of the 7th. Game 1 was back and forth, but not going to.
facing off against McGettigan. Clark on second, pitch way outside. Sun's starting to set behind the trees here, so from a very select spot over right field. You.
There's just one thing for
And
Low. Two. On the board. Here's the pitch. That one looked all right from our perspective. Umpire It's going to be a walk for Hutchinson.
Yeah, if anything, that pitch was.
I mean, that's the thing. I thought about that Carney strikeout. That's sort of explained our surprise at that strikeout.
Regardless, it's going to bring Cole Luzens to the plate. 2 outs, 2 men on. Suddenly a 4-run lead. So just trying to escape here is McGettigan and the Dirt Dogs. That pitch on the outside edge, a called strike. Oh, and 2 the count for McGettigan. He deals way outside. Nice job by Schmidt getting behind it to prevent Clark and company from advancing.
Trying to think, that might not be Schmidt anymore after that pinch runner for him last inning.
Looks like it's 49 actually, so you're right. That pitch is hit, but a really nice catch by Fulford with his left hand just reaching up and picking that thing out of the sky. Let's take a look at the replay.
Yeah, great reaction time there by the shortstop, and I mean, thought it might just go over, but I'd say just great fielding and way to see it around Cody Clark, who just ran right in front of him.
All right, so that's going to do it here for the 6th inning. Just 3 more outs. Benny Wilson, Collegeville White Sox to advance to the Perky League Finals. Can they do it? Find out coming up next on the Sports Fan Base Network. Welcome back here to what could be the final frame of this semifinal matchup. Benny Wilson on the mound. He's facing off against Sam Junker at the top of the lineup. So if there's any 3 guys you want up to try to claw your way back, it's 1, 2, and 3.
And then for the Dirt Dogs, you're going to need eventually 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, because you guys need 4 runs here in this inning. You're going to need to bat around and really come up with something and fast.
Yeah, you wonder if there's any coaching points given to Sam Junker before he strutted out here, or if they just said, please get on base, keep this game rolling. 1-1 now the count after Wilson's pitch goes just a bit inside.
Right, and that's the key to any rally, you know. Just get on base any way you can. Keep the train moving. Doesn't matter how pretty it is. It doesn't matter if it's a nice line drive single or if it's a hit by pitch or if it's a gritty 4-ball walk. Your job is just to get on base and leave it to the next guy, and that's what the Dirt Dogs need to do.
Collegeville 7 hits and below to have a chance here. Collegeville has exactly 7 hits. So
They've got a chance still.
they still have a chance. Obviously, they still do.
The
You
trend
know,
is telling us that they
usually-
still have a chance, but
Usually, you don't imagine that that team has more runs than hits. Obviously, it did happen. They're a good number of walks today. But
Here's
yeah.
the pitch from Wilson. Looked inside, but Junker took a hack at it anyway. He's going to go down swinging.
I mean, no chance there. You saw the feet shift back. He thought I was going to hit him, and then coming back. And I imagine if you're Benny Wilson now,
you're locked in because you see a guy move back like that, a little shaking the knees. You're all good.
It's going to bring up Rory Finn, number 83. Finn's been at second base today. He'll take that.
And I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but it's starting to look like we're going to be set up for a Lansdale-Collegeville finals matchup. And I'm starting to get curious as to what Collegeville will do and who they'll give the ball to tomorrow night for Game 1. Are they going to give it to Benny Wilson, although he is throwing some pitches here to close out this game? Will they go to someone like Chase Fisher, who hasn't looked great in this series? Or will someone like their ace, Jason Hughes, be available?
After Benny Wilson has fought his way back. Here's the pitch. It is hit straight to third base. Bobbled and dropped. Finn's going to get aboard. Just a rocket right into the glove of Colin Jensen. He couldn't hang on.
Yeah, tough play for Jensen over there. That ball was scorched off the bat of Finn. It'll definitely go down as a hit. It'll be harsh to give Jensen an error there.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing. I mean, when a ball comes out that fast, yeah, his glove touched it, so that's usually the sort of what you need. But yeah, I would just give that a hit. That was hit too hard. Tried to react, just couldn't in time.
So now it's Garrett Mathias, first baseman. He's going to take that first pitch called strike. But now at the very least, barring a double play, we'll see Mathias and Gorla, two big bats who helped get things going in the inning previous. That pitch low and away. Mathias, the lefty, awaiting the pitch from Wilson. Pickoff attempt nowhere near in time for Finn, just looking to hold him on the bag there.
So, Straub, since you brought up Hughes, I wanted to look, since he did pitch a lot earlier in the series, I wanted to see, what his pitch count was, maybe where he was in his rest. See strike two there. And unfortunately, they don't have his pitch count exactly on the
website. However, 8 Ks and 6 innings, 5 hits. So you'd assume 15 pitches per inning. That's 90, and it's been about 5 or 6 days since then.
That ball is hit by Mathias. It's going to find a gap, and Mathias is going to head to first base unopposed. So now runners on first and second, only one out here. Maybe a little bit of hope returning to the Dirt Dogs dugout, as now we see Big Joe Gorla, who hit an absolute shot in Game 1. He's looking to do the same here in the elimination game. Wilson checks the runner at second. No pitch. Shipped low and foul.
Say for the Dirt Dogs, this is you really want to see. You don't need a bunch of home runs. You need singles and doubles. You need just guys to do their job, hit and hit again. And so that's just all you need. And especially if I'm anyone who's going to hit, I'm giving as much information to a base coach and giving it back to my dugout, so the next guy can get a hit and then hopefully hit me in later.
Gorla now way behind in the count, 0-2. After fouling off the last 2 pitches from Wilson. Wilson, just such a fluid pitcher. Distinctly taller than his counterpart Carney. Different release point makes it tricky for these batters. Gorla awaits the pitch. Swung and hit. Finds a gap. One runner grounding third, headed home. He's going to get there in time, cutting this Collegeville lead down to 3.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that we might have spoke too soon about tomorrow's matchup between Collegeville and Annandale because Dirt Dogs seemingly channeling their inner game one. Although they didn't win that game, they came back in the top of the 7th, and all of a sudden, Brett Schneider representing the tying run. Definitely hope that that doesn't happen and that teams can kind of settle into themselves.
Brett Schneider facing the 0-2. Swung on in. Visit here. Arms still getting warming. The Collegeville bullpen. But now, Jackson Kehoe finds himself at the plate with the bases juiced. 1 out. Down 3.
Representing the go-ahead run.
He is the go-ahead run. And I mentioned early on in this game, elimination game, this is the stuff you dream about. How about bases loaded? You're the go-ahead run in an elimination game. That is the stuff of dreams right there. So Jackson Kehoe, a chance to really set himself apart here. Benny Wilson's going to stay on the mound.
And like I said, we've seen this situation before. Collegeville has shown that they have the ability to not be able to hold on to leads. Like we said, in Game 3, they led 1-0 going into the top of the 7th inning. They were 3 outs away in that game as well from getting this series done and dusted early on, a 3-game sweep. Obviously, the Dirt Dogs rallied for 4 runs to win that game and then to win Game 4.
Kehoe's going to find the gap there. It's just going to trickle past Lancelotti. Matthias is going to score. Bases remain loaded. Nathan Kress now in a familiar position. 1 out, bases loaded.
What I liked about that at bat there is that Kehoe stayed within himself. He didn't try to swing too hard because he is now, in a way, the most important run of this game. And that's something, it's so easy just to get in your own head about it. So, nice, easy swing there. Again, a little bit of luck, but that's the type of stuff you really need if you're the Dirt Dogs, not to switch into a different mindset where you can now hit dingers.
That first pitch from Wilson finds the outside edge. 0-1 now the count.
And this has just been an absolute clinic of just small ball by the Dirt Dogs. That's now 5 singles in the inning. Just moving the train along, and like I said at the beginning of the inning, just letting it get to the next guy at any means necessary.
Yeah, truly fundamental baseball. So now Nathan Kress looking to put the exclamation point on it. Down 2. Bases loaded, 1 out.
And we'll see if the Dirt Dogs can continue the trend with two strike hitting. They've had a couple in this inning.
Swung on and hit. There you go. Right on cue from Ryan Straub. 1 run's going to score. Edgett's going to grab that ball in center field, holding the base runners. Bases stay loaded. 1 more scores. We've got a 1-run game here at Villanova Ballpark.
See. Oh, no, we might have an injury.
I certainly hope not. That's
Not sure.
Kehoe, I believe.
I saw him kind of get to second base gingerly, kind of went down trying to stretch out his leg. I'm not sure if that's a cramp or what the situation is. We're going to get a pinch runner for him. And that's huge, too, because that's the go-ahead run.
Yeah.
It matters. The personnel matters on whether it's Kehoe or whether it's this pinch runner that's about to come in for him. And obviously, if he's in any sort of pain, any sort of discomfort, and he's not 100% representing the winning run, you want to get him out of there, and you want to get someone else in there who is 100% and can run fast.
Speaking of pinch runners, we're seeing Paul Sifra, who entered this game as a pinch runner. He'll be walking into the batter's box next. Looks like they're going to keep Kehoe out there despite his pain.
Say my only hesitation here, if you're the Dirt Dogs, obviously Kehoe, he wants to be in this. He wants to stay in this game, help get the win at the same time. If it's a cramp or maybe he pulled something, staying in really is only going to make it worse.
Yeah.
And so this is where I understand this game's important, but you got to think about not only maybe tomorrow with the championship, but just your future. It's really going to affect you if he now tears something.
So it's a one-run game as Wilson's first pitch heads outside, and we were mentioning the light dwindling away now, really starting to get dark here at Villanova. Sifra in the box. Still 1 out. That pitch up high and away. 2-0 now the count.
You see the infield alignment for the Collegeville White Sox. Corners will play in on the grass, middle infield back, see if they can get a ground ball, potentially end this game with a huge double play. A big pitch here, 2-0 the count.
Swung on and missed.
So you can also see the outfield much further in than maybe we've seen them before. Before, the thought is, keep it as a single. Now it's, all right, we have to make sure we are close enough that if it's a fly ball, we can settle under it, get some momentum and come up firing and have a chance here.
That's a good point, Tyson. Also, a ball on the ground, you want to be able to get to it as quick as possible and try to gun out the go-ahead run.
Here's the pitch. It is hit and caught. 1 out's going to go, and 2 outs. That's it. There it is, right on cue. A double play to end this game. Benny Wilson escapes after a mini comeback. Leaves the final score 8-7. Collegeville is headed to the Perky League Finals.
A heartbreaking end there for the Dirt Dogs. They clawed all the way back, not only in this game, but in the series. They were 3 outs away from being eliminated all the way back in Game 3, but they came back to win that one. They won Game 4, and they were very close to coming back again here in Game 5, and that's just a heartbreaking way to have your season end.
And that might be the one time we've seen, during this inning, the Dirt Dogs, they really, like I said, stayed with them themselves, didn't get too aggressive. That might be the one time we saw them get too aggressive. We saw with Collegeville in a similar situation where those guys, they saw, it was line drive, they sat, they waited, and then they went back. You can see that was Kress. He saw the line drive, saw it was kind of the middle, started running, didn't realize, that's going right to second base, and there was no chance he was getting there on any decent throw. And so it's sort of unfortunate, but like we said, you just have to stay within yourself. You can't try to do too much. Just stuff like that can happen.
While it took a lot longer than we had anticipated here in the 7th inning, Tyson, myself, and you will have Game 1 tomorrow between Collegeville and Lansdale.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, that should be a really fun matchup between those two teams. 2 dominant teams in this league, deservedly headed to the Perky League Finals. A heartbreaking way, as we said, for the Philadelphia Dirt Dogs to end their season. But that's going to do it for us here at SFBN. Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of our producer, Sean Riley, our commentators, Ryan Schraub, Tyson Maddox, and myself, Ryan Cuney, thank you, and have a great night.